Miranda here. Hello and welcome to my tutorial on how to master phone filmmaking, which is kind of like the trend right now. I mean, come on, cameras are expensive. Like, things are just expensive, man. And why not use what's right in front of us? We're paying so much money for it, might as well be good. So after a long amount of research on what the best technique to phone filmmaking is, I found out that actually using the camera app that comes with iPhones or phones is not really the best. Like, sometimes you need a third-party gear for your camera. That's what you need on your phone, a third-party camera app. And here's why. Notice how on the split screen, I'm showing you the same video, but all three look different? This is because I filmed them in 3 different ways. Meaning, the first one, I'm using the cinematic video that the camera app allows you to use. And the second one, I'm just using the regular video. And then in the third one, I'm using a third-party app known as Filmmaking Pro to film this object. The thing about using the camera app that comes with your phone, especially the iPhone ones, is that its settings are very limited, as well as its capacity. For example, have you ever noticed when you're trying to take a video that if you focus on the sky, the subject closest to the lens or the camera goes completely black, more like shadows overtake. But when you focus on the subject, the sky turns completely white. This is because using this app, the camera is not able to both allow shadows and highlights to work at the same time. It can only pick up one of the two. However, using the third-party app that I will talk to you about, Filmmaking Pro, it allows you to pick up both things at once because of its super broad settings. And while cinematic is not a bad option because of its high-quality attributes, whether that's with focus, bokeh, or even just the quality of the video, Filmmaking Pro can make your cinematic video go from this to this. Here's how to use Filmmaking Pro. So right now we can find ourselves in an indoor exterior. The first thing you're going to do is switch to manual in the upper right left corner. Then you have a little scale with level, ISO, shutter speed, and zoom. Level kind of just works both ISO and shutter. You can change these by sliding down. As you noticed, I moved straight to ISO. When working in an indoor setting like such, you want to get an ISO that is not over 800. You may want to get the lowest ISO possible. I went around with like a good 50. I set my shutter speed to around 60, so 1 divided by 60, to make a good contrast because we already have natural sunlight. Then I went to white balance. You see, white balance is what's going to make this pop off. When working indoors, you kind of want to set it between, I'd say, 4,200 and 4,600. It'll really bring the colors out and will fix that bluish undertone. Keep these settings in mind. On the right side, you can play around with the focus. You then just record in that little white button in the lower right corner. And there it is. Records it for you and has a built-in mic. Now, something very cool about this app is that you can also play with the frames per second, meaning you can do slow-mo or time-lapse. The first thing you're gonna do is go to that little setting buttons in the upper left corner that is still in frame. You then go to video. In video, you have two options. You have encoding, where you can change if you want it to be 4K, and how you want kind of like the frame to look, if it's 16:9, 1:1, etc., etc. On the next side, it has frame rate. When filming cinematic, we go with 24 frames per second. But now, if you want to get a good slow-mo that isn't chunky, what you have to do is raise it to 60 frames per second. So you're going to capture it in 60 frames per second. But then you can't leave the playback in that same point, or you won't really see it. You got to play it back in 24 frames per second. So like the original way you would technically film it. You can also make it lower. It just depends how slow you really want it to look. Between 20 and 24 is a pretty good range. In terms of settings, I didn't really change anything because we are still in an indoor space, and I kind of kept a very similar settings to what I already had. I might have changed the white balance a bit because in here we didn't really have sunlight coming in. If you want to know exactly, my shutter speed was around 145, so it went down by 5. My ISO was around 500. White balance between 3,200 to 3,600. We now move outside to an exterior type of setting. Now, compared to indoors, you actually want to pop up the shutter speed the highest possible and keep the ISO the lowest possible. For this one, I went with an ISO of 24. For it is the lowest it can go in the settings. I then moved to a shutter speed of around 760/20. And lastly, I went to a white balance temperature of around 5,400 to 5,600, exactly ending in 5,463K. I then told her to walk down the alley. As you can notice, there is a square setting the focus on her. Moreover, the lens is pretty wide. This is because I changed it to a wider lens in that little button down next to what looks like a Wi-Fi signal. Technically, right now, if you get only like Filmmaking Pro, like for the video, you only have to pay $3 a week. And there is also a yearly plan, which I will insert a picture of it right here. Yes, it's money, but the quality and the difference is insane. I completely recommend if you want to start off on your phone. It is such good quality, and the audio, it's got like a microphone. You have the option to either just it uses like a shotgun mic like this, or like Bluetooth mics, so you could connect your own lavaliers or like little mics to it, which is amazing. This is technically a camera on a phone, like I'm telling you. In the end, the choice is yours. I hope you guys learned something from this video about phone filmmaking and how to make things look cinematic. If you don't want to invest in Filmmaking Pro, just try working on lighting and mastering lighting. You can always color grade and post. And then, if you're actually interested in Filmmaking Pro, I 100% recommend. This is the end of the video. Please remember to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell because we will be posting videos about twice a week really appreciate your love and viewings and support. We are kind of like medium-sized group of artists trying to share our vision and our love across different platforms of social media based in New York. So if you could support us, we would really, really appreciate it. That's it. I hope you enjoyed and come back for more.